Welcome to Headspace and Timing on the Go. My name is Duane France, and I'm a U.S. Army combat veteran and clinical mental health counselor. In addition to my clinical work, I also write and talk about veteran mental health on my blog and podcast, Headspace and Timing. At the request of many listeners and readers, this project is going to bring you some of the Headspace and Timing blog posts in as many formats as possible. Listen and watch in your own way, on your own time, and share them however you'd like. This first one that I'm going to read is one of my personal favorites, literally my personal favorite, and it's one that I wrote after listening to sort of some of the things that were going on in the media, mainly about veterans. So this is an open letter to America from one of your veterans. Dear America, just wanted to take a few minutes to say thanks and get a few things off my chest. Life's been a little challenging for us veterans, maybe more than we expected. When I joined your armed forces, I looked around and saw a cross-section of your citizens that I never knew existed before. The brothers and sisters that I saw while I was in came from every state, every ethnicity, every religion. I saw a Caucasian from California become best friends with an African American from Mississippi. Didn't think much about it at the time, but looking back on it, it was kind of amazing, you know? See, when we banded together for a common goal, where a person was from, what they liked or didn't like, it didn't seem to matter as much as whether or not that person could get things done. Sometimes I wonder, why can't the rest of your communities be like that? My reasons for joining your military were as widely different from those of my fellow service members as where we came from. To be honest, life wasn't always so hot growing up, and maybe joining the service was simultaneously my only choice to make and the best thing to happen to me. I saw brothers and sisters who joined to pay for college and then never ended up going to college. My fellow veterans joined because they loved you, because they wanted to get out of where they were at, because they came from a military family. Once we joined, though, we learned the set of values of our particular branch of service and pretty much came to have them as our own. Loyalty, integrity, selfless service. Let me tell you, once you start to believe in that stuff, it's really hard to unbelieve it. And when you do unbelieve it, it leaves you in a pretty cold place. It's hard to come back to civilian life and not see those things in people around me who've never served. I grew up watching how veterans from my parents' generation were treated and how veterans from my grandparents' generation were treated. I thank them for their service and sacrifice, but why was it so different for each of them? Things change, I get it, but come on. You have veterans from World War II revered, Korean War veterans forgotten, Vietnam veterans reviled, and Gulf War veterans forgotten again. Really? They joined your military just like I did. Are we going to keep the cycle going? How will your people see me and my brothers and sisters in 50 years? If how I see things going now is in any indication, it's probably going to be a mix of all of them. Do you know why I love you so much? Because I saw firsthand what it was like to live in a place that was not you. Some of it looked like it really sucked, to put it mildly, and I couldn't wait to get back to you, back to America. They say that you really don't appreciate something until you don't have it anymore, and that's certainly true. Your military sent me to places that really opened my eyes in that point. There were some really great places, and I thank you for sending me to them, and there were also some really crappy places, and it's a little harder for me to thank you for sending me there. What I do thank you for is sending me to those crappy places with my brothers and sisters. That made it a whole heck of a lot easier. Your leaders sent me to combat, but I really don't hold that against them. I know what I signed up for, and if I didn't, I figured it out pretty quick. It didn't much matter which political party was in charge. I seemed to get sent someplace where I got shot at. So who was in the White House really didn't bother me that much. It's not that I'm interested in politics. I kind of really am, because my job was very much an extreme extension of politics. But who my senator was seemed to matter a little bit less than who my battle buddy was. I was somewhat more concerned about who was playing in the World Series and the National Championship than which laws were being passed in Congress. I know I can't speak for all my brothers and sisters, but it seemed like there was a lot more important things that were going on, and sometimes I just needed a break. That being said, I would appreciate some assistance on the legislative front, even if it's only making sure that things are in place that I can receive what I was promised when I joined your military. So I guess the reason I'm writing this letter to you, America, is to kind of let you know where I'm coming from and ask for a few favors. Just give me a shot at the American dream. I don't want the nice house, good job, peaceful life served up to me on a platter. I wouldn't feel like I've earned it if you just give it to me, and I'm used to working for what I get. I don't want a handout, but I also don't want to be left out in the cold. Literally. Well, I love your cities and towns. I don't love them so much that I want to live on their streets all the time. Well, I love the idea of justice and fairness. Sometimes it's hard for me to readjust from how I had to think when I was overseas to how I know I need to think when I'm here at home. And experiencing fairness and justice from behind bars just adds a little bit more challenges on top of those that I'm already having. I didn't really brush up on my interview skills or my resume writing because I was kind of too busy doing the other stuff you needed me to do. So all I'm asking for is a little bit of consideration. Don't let my fellow citizens treat me like a scared rabbit or a wounded bird, or worse, like a rabid animal that everyone needs to run away from. Being coddled or marginalized would irritate the crap out of anybody, and it burns me up particularly. My experiences don't define me, and the Purple Hearts, traumatic brain injury, and mental health diagnoses of my brothers and sisters don't define them. I want to survive and thrive in spite of what I did and what happened to me, not because of what I did and what happened to me. I really do need help sometimes, real concrete help in the form of medical services and mental health services, not in the form of another fishing license or commemorative license plate. But just because I need help sometimes, it's hard to ask for that help, doesn't mean that I'm a crazy combat vet or system-dependent leech on the taxpayer's dime. It means that some of the stuff that happened might have screwed me up, and I might need some help getting unscrewed up. So thanks, America, for taking the time to hear me out. I love you, and I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else. I just like the opportunity to have my life and my family's life be a little bit more easier than it was in the past. And if there's any way that you can help make that happen, I'd certainly appreciate it. Yours truly, a veteran. If you like this article and you want to hear more, then head over to veteranmentalhealth.com and sign up for updates. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube at Headspace and Timing or Veteran Mental Health. We're trying to change the way that you think and talk about veteran mental health with one goal: to help veterans understand that you're not alone, ever.